New hair and a new series. It's all kicking off. I'm super excited to be able to have such a great lineup of guests on the channel, sharing their work with English, languages and accents. First up, I'm thrilled to welcome the translator, Mark Hemming. I'll let him further introduce himself before the questions begin.
Hi, my name is Mark Hemming. So I can tell you that I live in Liverpool, which is in the UK, in the northwest. And basically about me, I'm a translator, former teacher as well. I spent 6 happy years living in Moscow. That's probably all you need to know about me, really.
Lovely stuff. One of my best holidays was visiting Mark in Moscow in 2012. Next up, could you tell us about the process of translating?
Okay, the process of translating is a long and fascinating one. It will basically look like this. Usually, I'll receive a document from a client. I will put it into one of my CAT tools that has nothing to do with actual real cats, but stands for computer assisted translation. What it basically does is it will split the document up into lots of easy bite-sized sections. I will then translate those sections one by one as I go along. I might get stuck on a difficult term or words, or it might be an area that I haven't researched before, I haven't worked with before, so I might then need to do some research around finding a particular tool. Once all that's done and the translation is completed, I'll then run a quality check on it, which mostly involves proofreading, making sure there's nothing missed out, checking that all the numbers are okay. And when that's done, the document will go back to the client. So that's basically how it works.
Thank you for giving a fascinating insight into how translating works. Now, what languages do you translate?
Okay. As for languages that I work with, the main language that I work with is usually French, translating into English, but I also work with Russian and sometimes Slovenian. So those are the three languages that I translate with.
You also mentioned you taught English. So what 2 pieces of advice would you give an English teacher today?
What 2 pieces of advice would I give an English teacher? Very easy. I think the first one would just be fun. Make it fun. I think that students love activities that are creative. They love talking to interesting people. So yeah, be fun, be creative in the classroom. And I think number 2 would just be focus on your students. There's nothing worse, I think, than a teacher that just talks and likes to explain, you know? I think that everything you do, you have to put it in front of your students, whether it's asking them questions, getting them to tell you something, getting them to interact with each other. So those are the 2 big pieces of advice that I would give an English teacher.
Be fun and focus on your students. Excellent advice. Now, turning to accents, what's your favourite aspect of the Northern Irish accent?
Okay, my favourite part of the Northern Irish accent. I don't know if this really covers it, but I think it would be all of the little funny things that Northern Irish people say. You know, the little phrases like "how's she cutting" instead of the more common "how are you" or what else? I don't know what else I'd like. Probably the fact that I think just the way that it sounds, I think, is very kind of comforting and friendly. I guess the Northern Irish personality goes with the accent, but I'd say that it's an accent that's very easy on the ear. Nobody hears a person from Northern Ireland and thinks, oh, what a horrible accent. No, nobody thinks that. Northern Irish people sound great. So, a bit jealous, really.
How's she cutting? Stay tuned for this one in a future video. What about your accent, Mark? And could you give one way in which it is different to the Northern Irish dialect?
What is my accent? Well, in theory, I'm from Guildford, which is just about an hour south of London. And what I would probably say in terms of differences, I think there are probably a lot of differences in the way that I would say certain words and that how a Northern Irish person would pronounce them. So probably lots of use of the long R sound, I would say, comes into my accent. So something like car, you know, Ali, you'd probably say that a little bit differently.
I absolutely would. Car. Car. You can hear the long rhotic R that Mark talked about. To find out more about rhoticity, check out the video somewhere up here. Next question, what is one skill that you are passionate about?
What is one skill I am passionate about? Well, I would say just in general, I don't know if it's a skill, but I think writing is something that I love and is important. Whether it's working on a document that I'm translating that needs to be in a not only clear but sound good to the reader, or whether it's blog posts that I sometimes write, or whether I do copywriting for other blogs or other clients. So I think writing is a skill that I'm passionate about.
Writing, unfortunately, often undervalued in today's society, so thank you, Mark, for pointing this out. Now, crucially, how should interested clients contact you?
And finally, if you're interested, if you want to contact me, please go to libratranslation.co.uk or send me a message at info@libratranslation.co.uk and I'll get back to you.
Make sure to check out those details in the description below. If you're looking for a translator, I highly recommend Mark Hemming and Libra Translation. Finally, a huge thank you to Mark. Over here, you can check out some of his work, as showcased in this video looking at false friends in Slovene and English.